Welcome to the New Zonderlings podcast, where we explore the weird and bizarre. Here are your hosts, Noah and Jeanette.
Hello and welcome to the New Zonderlings podcast. My name is Noah and I'm joined by my co-host Jeanette.
Hey there. This week, I found a story that piqued my interest. So really got me interested in the subject. But today we're going to talk about stories with children being lost in the woods. I have, children being lost in the forest, children being lost in the Amazon, children being kidnapped in the savannah.
Wow.
It's not funny.
A very uplifting episode, Jeanette.
They all have happy endings.
Oh, okay. Well, I take back what I said.
No bad endings in any of these. So the first one I found has a title that says Missing Children Found After 40 Days in Amazon.
Wow.
So this was reported on by CNN in 2023. 4 young children have been found alive after more than a month wandering in the Amazon, where they survived like children of the jungle, according to Colombian President Gustavo Petro. So he's very proud of this. You can tell through this whole article. He's really like, these are kids from Colombia,
I see.
They're learning from indigenous families, and their learning of living in the jungle has saved them, Petro told reporters on Friday after announcing on Twitter that they had been found 40 days after they went missing following a plane crash that killed their mother.
Oh, geez. That's upsetting.
It's very sad. Petro said the children were all together when they were found, adding they had demonstrated an example of total survival that will be remembered in history. So like I said, he's very proud. I mean,
clearly.
It should be.
Yeah,
40 days is a long time for kids.
Yeah, to survive.
In a jungle.
How old were these kids?
Well, that's the most shocking part. I'm going to get to it here in a second. They are children of the jungle, and now they are children of Colombia, he added. Authorities were able to locate the children after hearing cries of the youngest child, an infant. Acosta is the coordinator of indigenous scouts in the Colombian Amazon region who assisted in the search. They were very weak. We could find them by listening to cries of the youngest one, but they were really tired. They were no longer on the move like in the first few weeks, Acosta said. So there was an infant was one of these children. An infant in the Amazon for a month.
I can't imagine.
Over a month.
A snake could just eat that. Eat them.
So the kids were aged 13, 9, 4, and an infant. They didn't really say how old the infant was, but I'm going to assume under a year old.
Yeah, no kidding.
So they were the only survivors of this deadly plane crash. Their mother was killed along with 2 other adult passengers, the pilot and an indigenous leader.
Huh.
So that's crazy. That's a crazy story. I mean, it goes on a lot more, but nothing really adds to the story, in my opinion. But that was I wish they would have put more in here about how they survived. They don't really talk about what they did to get by for 40 days, especially with an infant. And the oldest one was 13.
I just can't imagine. 40 days?
Can't imagine 40 days. I can't imagine one day in the Amazon jungle, let alone 40. But the way they talk, these kids have taken some training.
Right. They live there. This is their natural. This is what they're used to.
I guess it would be, we live in Kentucky, it'd be the same as some kid getting lost in the forest here. Yeah. We're pretty close to the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah.
But still. Another one reported on in 2022. Boy found in Montana woods after missing for 48 hours. What makes this one stand out to me was the boy's age. A 3-year-old Montana boy has been found after being reported missing for 48 hours. Now, it doesn't quite sound as impressive as the 40 days in the jungle, but that's still for a little bitty, a 3-year-old's a toddler.
Yeah.
A child, Riker Webb, is healthy and in good spirits after his rescue on Sunday. A couple in the Bull Lake Valley area heard a noise near their shed on Sunday and found Riker inside, Lincoln County Sheriff Darren Short told ABC News. Short said that the couple had been visiting their cabin and heard a whimper in their nearby shed. When they entered, they found Riker inside a lawnmower bag.
What?
Short believes that Riker had taken cover inside the shed and slept within the lawnmower bag from the Friday evening when he was reported missing. According to the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, Riker disappeared on Friday afternoon after he had been seen playing with his family dog outside of his home near mile marker 18 of State Highway 56. So I'm not really familiar with Montana.
Nah, I'm not either.
I have no idea where that is exactly. But that's all I'm going to read of that story. It does go on to kind of talk about how they are mad at the parents because it took them 2 hours to report him missing, and then
That's pretty bad.
they're trying to take them to court on some neglect charges.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it on one hand, a 3-year-old shouldn't be just left on his own for hours.
No.
But on the other hand, it's not like they were like, oh, he's gone. Oh, well.
I guess that's true. I don't know. There's different ways to look at it. But
I don't think they were trying to get rid of him, is my point.
It's definitely not a good situation.
Got another one. 10-year-old boy survived at night in Utah woods by curling up on warm rocks. Just smart. So Utah's more deserty.
Deserty.
It's
more of a desert.
It is definitely a desert. A 10-year-old boy found safe for more than one day alone in the remote Utah back countryside. I said back countryside.
The back countryside.
The back of the country. He was said that he was curled up between rocks, still warm from the sun, to survive the cold mountain night. So, he's obviously close to mountains in Utah. It was weird not having anybody with me. I just kept going. I knew I had to make it back or my family would be really sad. Isn't this kid cute? Malachi said he was hiking with his family near Paul Lake when he wandered further into the woods in search of wild mushrooms. I went way too far, he said. So a little bit older, so he's a little bit more aware.
Yeah.
But
well, more likely to know what to do in that situation.
You may say, well, it's only one day. The other ones were much more impressive, but still a 10-year-old without any kind of survival equipment or anything on those
How old was he?
10. He was 10.
Oh, I thought you said 19.
No, he's 10.
Oh.
10-year-old. This one I liked because we're going to bring other things into the mix now. They're not surviving on their own. They're surviving with animals.
Oh, gosh.
I really like these stories. It's one of my favorite things to read about these kind of things because so often they go the other direction. Or you just don't find out whatever happens to them at all.
Right. They're just gone.
Boy lost in woods for 2 days tells mom he hung out with a bear. So this
interesting.
A boy who went missing in the woods for 2 days told his family he hung out with a bear before he was discovered by rescuers. The boy's aunt made the claim in a Facebook group describing his experience as miraculous and the bear a divine gift. 3-year-old Casey Hathaway.
3.
He was 3. Went missing last week when he wandered off while playing in his grandmother's backyard. Rescuers found him a few days later, tangled up in patches of thorn.
Oh.
He was found crying out for his mother less than a mile from where he went missing.
That's really sad.
Questions about whether the bear was imaginary or real are being debated, but Hathaway's mother believes her son enough to include it in the police report. According to sources, the county sheriff thought the claim was cute and probably not real. That didn't stop his office from posting a picture of the boy next to a picture of a bear on his Facebook page. He made a comment about having a friend while he was in the woods. His friend was a bear. So that's what the sheriff told CNN. According to reports, the boy survived 2 nights in 20-degree weather with heavy winds and pouring rain, making it more believable he received protection of some sort.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd have to, right?
Yeah. It's hard to survive the elements like that.
Maybe it wasn't a bear. It was like a really, really hairy mountain man.
That's gross.
You don't think so?
No, I don't like that version.
Why not?
I prefer the bear version.
Yeah, the bear's cuter. Could be Winnie the Pooh.
Maybe it's where the wild things are.
No, maybe. Though the boy's story may be hard to believe, it's almost impossible to disprove, and there are certainly plenty of stories of animals coming to the rescue of humans in dire situations. Online, people in more conspiracy-minded forums propose the possibility that Hathaway's mysterious savior may have been Bigfoot, or the strange missing 411 phenomenon researched and written about by David Pallades. I hope I said his name right.
Pallades, that sounds correct. What's this 411?
I don't know. This is something I think that we should do another episode on. So it's just a park ranger. Actually, it's it explains it in the next paragraph.
okay.
So I'll
Well,
just keep
go ahead.
Pallades has devoted his career to researching hundreds of strange disappearances throughout the U.S. after a park ranger told him of thousands of odd and unexplained disappearances that have occurred in National Park Service history. Could this have been one such case that fortunately turned out to have a happy ending? There are others who have speculated that the bear Hathaway referred to may have been a benevolent spirit that helped him find shelter and keep him safe during his harrowing time alone. And until the boy is a little older, we may never know whether he was saved by his guardian angel or a real-life Baloo. In either case, the story was pretty miraculous. So, what do you think about that story? That one was probably my favorite.
Yeah, I like that. It's a lot nicer to think about. Winnie the Pooh saved him.
Winnie the Pooh. As long as you don't watch Blood and Honey or whatever that abomination was that they came out with.
Horror movie about Winnie the Pooh, and
apparently Winnie the Pooh's licensing came up, and
after what? It's 100 years.
Is it 100?
I think so.
I don't know if it's that long. I think they somehow got away with it being 100 for Mickey Mouse.
Fact check.
But I mean, there would be other things that are older than Winnie the Pooh that should be up, right?
Well, you can renew it.
You just don't think that Disney renewed it?
I guess. Well, it's the same thing with Steamboat Willie. I think that's come up for debate as well, if it's now free to use or not, because of how long it's been out there, or rather, if Disney renewed it or not.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about that. There are probably people out there that absolutely know for sure, and they're yelling at us right now. But yeah, we're not really big into that stuff.
Copyright protection lasts for the life of the author plus 70 years.
Okay.
So as long as the author is still alive, 70 years after.
Or the creator. In this, it would be Walt
in this
Disney.
case, yes.
Right.
The character licensing, such as an illustrator or a design company, is the licensor. The licensee pays royalties to the licensor for using the character's likeness, or they can buy out the characters outright. So that's where it comes into play, where they just purchase the character. Quite some time, but
Disney
I believe
died in the 60s, right? So
yeah, I think. Has it been 70 years already?
not yet, but it's getting close.
Well, a lot of stuff might come up then.
Yeah.
I think Steamboat Willie was something that was older, and that's why it has come up. I think it's a big debate in the courts about what is really happening with these characters and who owns them, who doesn't own them, when does it become free to use, that stuff like that. But that's not what the episode's about.
No, it's not. We got off on a weird tangent there, but okay. I'm just really mad about what they did with Winnie the Pooh. They made a scary movie
I
called
haven't seen it.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I'm not watching it.
Oh, you're not going to watch it?
No.
You should give everything a fair chance in art.
No.
Okay, well, that's your opinion.
No. I'm not a huge horror movie. I think we talked about this before. I don't like gory type stuff, and that looks really gory.
Oh, is it? I honestly haven't seen a trailer for it either.
I prefer psychological thrillers.
Like Silence of the Lambs and Long Legs.
The Shining.
The Shining.
I guess that'd be like psychological horror. I don't really know what.
It's hard to classify these sometimes.
Terror. I don't know. I kind of liked Scream. If I had to like a favorite slasher movie.
I was going to say, that's a slasher.
I don't know. But anyway, back to what we're actually talking about. I did find some other stories of animals that saved people. So this is always...
Is this Jungle Book?
The Jungle Book. We have a very Disney themed thing going on today.
Don't sue us, Disney.
In June of 2005, a 12-year-old girl was snatched by 4 men in rural southwest Ethiopia as she made her way home from school. A week after the kidnapping, her captors were attempting to move her, with police in hot pursuit, when 3 lions chased the men off. The lions remained with the terrified girl until police officers arrived to escort her to safety. She told them that although she had been beaten by her kidnappers, who it is believed had been attempting to sell her into a forced marriage, the lions had not touched her.
That's crazy.
That's a pretty good story. That's a good feel-good story because lions, ugh.
That's crazy to think about.
The only thing I think about when I hear about lions interacting with humans is
It's bad.
another movie. We're going to talk about a movie. Should be weird news in a movie, but did you ever watch Ghost in the Darkness?
No.
It's about the Savo lions, man-eating lions. So they're trying to build a railroad through Savo, and they have a problem with lions eating their workers.
Oh, gosh.
It's all about them trying to kill these lions, and they like end up killing a whole bunch of people.
Oh, gosh. I just keep thinking of Life of Pi. Have you seen that?
No, I've got the book, and I started to read it, but I'm not too ashamed to admit I couldn't get through it.
Oh, my gosh. The movie is pretty good.
I imagine it was a little dry, but I think probably if you had a visual, it would be a little better.
It was a very good movie, like I said. To explain, because if you haven't seen it or read it by now, what are you doing? What are you living under a rock?
What are you doing with your life?
Essentially, it's about this family in India that is moving or transporting their animals to... They own a zoo, and they're transporting these animals to America, where they're moving, I believe is how it goes. And they're on this big ship with all these animals, and, they're taking care of the animals, and then the ship capsizes. The boy, I think his name's Pi, is the only one that survives. And he's stuck on this...
That's depressing.
Yeah, it is very depressing. He's stuck on this boat with a lion. Or, I'm sorry, not a lion, a tiger. And he has to figure out how to survive and also keep the tiger alive because he feels bad for the tiger. They're in the ocean. There's nothing around them.
So it's kind of like Madagascar, only not funny.
It's like Madagascar, only not funny.
It's not funny.
Only realistic.
Real people. Okay.
And at the end, spoiler alert, skip ahead. At the end, this whole time he's telling a story to a reporter or a story writer, I think it is. Pi is. And at the end, the report he gave to the police was that he was stuck on this boat with another ship worker because the police didn't believe that he was on this ship with this tiger for so long, on this boat with this tiger for so long. So...
Well, didn't they see the tiger?
No. When he got back to shore, the tiger went off into the jungle, and he was found by a family. The family never saw the tiger. So the debate in the story, this isn't an actual debate, but in the story, the debate is, did he lie about the tiger? Did he make it all up? Was he actually trapped on a ship, on a boat with a tiger, with a man from the ship that ran off into the jungle when he got back because he may have done some questionable things?
Okay.
Or was he telling the truth the first time and he was really on this ship, on this boat with the tiger the whole time, surviving for like a long time?
Well, I mean,
it's
I think I would probably, my first instinct would be to believe him. I mean, why wouldn't you believe him?
It's very interesting.
I mean, did they find his boat?
I don't remember.
I mean, tiger's got to go to the bathroom, right? I doubt it's hanging its butt over the side.
You'd have to watch it to understand.
I'm too logical for this kind of thing.
I'm aware, but again, it's a good movie. If you haven't seen it, watch it, and then, message us online. Tell us what you think. Did Pi survive with Tiger, or was it really a ship worker?
Give us your opinions. All right. In late 2004, lifeguard Rob Howes and his family were out swimming at Ocean Beach in New Zealand when 7 bottlenose dolphins approached and herded them together. They were behaving really weird, Howes recalled, turning tight circles on us and slapping the water with their tails. He and his daughter's friend, Helen, had drifted about 20 meters away from his daughter and another friend before a dolphin swam straight at them and dived back down into the water before them. I turned in the water to see where it was going to come up, Howes went on, but instead I saw this great big gray fish, later revealed to be a great white shark, swim around me. It glided in an arc and headed for the 2 other girls. My heart went into my mouth because one of them was my daughter. The dolphins were going ballistic. The dolphins then herded the swimmers together and circled protectively around them for another 40 minutes, fending off the shark. So that's a long time. These dolphins were in it.
Well, yeah, dolphins, this is actually kind of common. Dolphins usually play with sharks
I have heard this.
But dolphins are so rough that they actually usually kill the sharks because, not on purpose, but...
Well, I don't know. They might.
It might be on purpose.
Dolphins are murderous.
They're pretty intelligent, too.
Yes, they are.
So, I mean, we have no idea what they're thinking, but this isn't unheard of, I'd say.
Yeah, I've heard of dolphins saving people before.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is about a sea lion.
Hmm.
So California resident Kevin Hines knows he's lucky to be alive after he jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco after a severe bout of mental illness.
Oh, man.
Here are the facts. This is his quote. On September 25th, 2000, due to bipolar disorder and serious psychosis, I jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge. I was 19 years old, and after leaving the bridge, my first thought was that I had made a terrible mistake. That sucks. Side note.
That's honestly, I think, usually the first thought.
Miraculously, I survived, and despite my severe injuries, I was able to reach the surface of the water. Upon my resurfacing, I bobbed up and down in the frigid waters surrounding me. Then something brushed against my legs. I feared it was a shark come to devour me whole. I tried to punch it, thinking it might bite me. However, this marine animal just circled beneath me, bumping me up. A passerby who saw the animal in question was a sea lion, quickly called for help. A rescue team was able to get to Kevin on time and pull him from the water, but it is doubtful that he could still be alive today had that helpful sea lion not kept his head above the water.
It's crazy.
The sea lion was knocking him back up to the surface, which is pretty amazing when you think about it.
Yeah. Also,
they're pretty murderous too. Ask a penguin.
Yeah. Are sea lions common there?
I mean, it's part of the ocean.
I guess.
It's right there off the coast of California. So.
I don't know. I never really thought about it, where sea lions are in the world. I always imagine they're just in Antarctica.
I assume they're everywhere in the ocean, or they probably have their routes that they travel.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like how there's penguins in Africa and stuff like that.
Yeah. This one I love. In February of 2012, a woman was walking through Oxford, Ohio, when a man dragged her behind a building and tried to choke her with her purse straps. He was seemingly intent on robbing her, if not worse, but those plans were foiled by a heroic deer.
What?
He ran out from underneath a nearby bush and scared him off.
That's crazy.
That is awesome. Have you ever heard of a deer saving somebody?
I haven't. Not once.
Usually they run the other way from people, right?
That's crazy.
He wants to be close to a deer. You know, I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember that time a deer walked up on my back porch?
No.
I could have swore you were there. Maybe I was wrong about that. Just walked up. It was a young buck, and it walked up and was looking in the back window at us. And we walked out there, and it let us pet him and everything.
That's crazy.
It was weird, is what it was.
No, I don't remember that.
But I did find out later that my neighbor told me that he had nursed a young deer that had lost his mom with a bottle, so he wasn't scared of people. So it was probably that deer.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure. I never saw him again because unfortunately, if they're not taught to fear humans, they get picked off pretty quickly during hunting season. So I mean, it's sad, but that's what happened.
It's the reality of it.
That deer saved this woman from getting choked to death by her own purse.
It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Not the deer you just told the story about, but the deer originally we were talking about.
A young boy in Ontario, Canada, was out on a camping trip with his parents when they decided to go fishing. The boy stayed on shore and was appalled to witness his parents' boat tip over and his parents tragically drowned. Panic-stricken, he attempted to walk to the nearest town to get help. But as the sun set, he realized he would have to spend the night outside. So we're talking about Canada. It's cold.
How old is he?
It doesn't say. It just calls him a young boy.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. As he lay on the ground, traumatized by his ordeal, he felt a warm, furry body press up against him. Thinking it was a dog, he fell asleep. So I don't know that would be something I would do. I mean, maybe if you're just really exhausted, you would.
I mean, if you're that young, too.
Check that out. But on waking the next morning, he found 3 wild beavers snuggled up against him.
Beavers?
Beavers. They had saved him freezing to death overnight when temperatures had dipped to below zero.
That's crazy.
Some beavers.
Some beavers. These are interesting animals I would never say would save somebody.
I know, right? The deer surprised me. The beavers. The lions, extremely surprising.
lions,
especially if she was beat up or bleeding in any way.
Yeah.
Which is just terrible.
Sad.
They should have ate those guys instead of just letting them go. That would be my opinion on that. Poor girl. She was kidnapped for over a week.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to imagine such an ordeal living in America. We don't have dangerous wild animals like that. I mean, we have bears, but I imagine, the bears live in woods and people know, that's where
Stay
they
away.
live. However, over there in African countries, it's all savanna, so they can just pretty much go.
It's the old saying, the most dangerous animal is man.
Humans. Oh,
man.
well, we're most dangerous to all of them, I can tell you that.
That's true, for sure.
That makes those stories even more amazing that they would even,
Stick up for us.
be so compassionate. But, I mean, that proves that they are. Maybe they'll make people think twice before they, I don't know, want to kill one for its fur or something.
I would say for sport, because there is a need for hunting some animals. If you did not hunt deer, they would run
gosh, here we
America.
go.
That is a statistical fact.
Yeah, well, what really makes me disgusted about that is when you see like a whole deer laying on the side of the road and it's been decapitated. And you know what happens there? They just want them for their antlers and they
Right.
cut their heads off.
You should use everything from the hunt.
Honor that animal if you're going to take its life.
Yeah.
I mean, not that that would make me feel any better. If somebody killed me and then made me into a lampshade out of my skin or something, I wouldn't feel good about that.
All right there, Dr. Lecter. Dang.
Dr. Lecter. Hannibal Lecter.
We have some
A
very...
fictional character.
Excuse you. We have some very... We have some very strong opinions on animals. We're not hunters. We don't believe in the act of killing. I don't believe in the act of killing another creature at all. I try not to even swat a fly. But that's just my beliefs. That's just what I think is right. Obviously, other people are different.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of people that hunt for food, and
That's true as well, which I think is acceptable. To each their own.
as long as we're not hunting for food, right?
All right.
So what'd you think about the episode? Leave us a comment below or send us a message.
You can find us on our website at newsunderlings.com. Follow us on Instagram, Reddit, TikTok, X, and Facebook. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the News Underlings podcast. Be sure to check out other episodes of this podcast when Noah and Jeanette will once again explore the weird and bizarre right here on the News Underlings podcast.